Welcome to Coach's Corner with Coach Eric Strothers.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner with Coach Eric Strothers. And today, who we have on the show is someone that's very special. Before we get to that, I'm Katina Rankin.
I'm Eric Strothers, and we just fortunate to have Cam Copeland on the show today.
Hey, Cam.
Two-time Player of the Year of our conference. We're just excited to talk to you today, Cam. I call him Lit Cam because we got a big Cam. I just want the listeners for you to tell us a little something about yourself. Give us some background on it.
Well, my name is Cameron Copeland. I go by Lil Cam at Tougaloo. And I'm originally from Toledo, Ohio. Now I reside in Atlanta, but right now I'm here for the summer. And it's my senior year. I just graduated with with a bachelor's in sociology, and I'm just looking forward to the next round.
Well, I see you got your ring on, you're flashing. Why don't you show it? You got one of your rings on, but we got another one coming.
Got another one. I don't take this off.
Yeah,
It's my first ring. I'm going to keep it on for a while.
Okay.
So in the recruiting process, Cam, you know, we recruited you pretty hard. And I had a lot of coaches that tell me once we got you, don't recruit Cam. He got attitude, he got problems, he got this, he got that. But you know, I'm a coach. I give kids chances, second chances, three chances. And you know me, I had a chance. So I'm here as a coach, and I gave you your chance. So just tell me a little something about that part of you coming to Tougaloo and playing for me.
Well, I'll be honest, those coaches were right. I'll be honest, they were right. And I was young, coming from a small town. I was starting on every team I was playing for, played for family members, so I always expected like that light on me. But when I went to another school where it was other players, I wasn't used to that, and I was still young. And so, unfortunately, COVID hit, but it kind of worked in my favor. I kind of got to look back and realize like I was wrong. I was definitely wrong, and I grew up. So when I came to Tougaloo, like you and Coach Billups, y'all let me know. Y'all let me know, like, this is not that. This is not that. And, like, you guys were hard on me, but I understand why now. And I kind of grew up while I was here as well. And, like I said, those coaches were right. But when I came to Tougaloo, I was kind of, like, more mature. And then you guys helped me.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I could help you, Cam, and you helped me. You know, we was there to help each other. And we partnered together, and we had some great success. I mean, anytime I can tell people I had a two-time Player of the Year play for me. Hey, that's big. That's big. That's a big feather in my cap. And I like to tell you I appreciate you, all you done for the coaching, the program, and Tougaloo. Right now, I'd just like you to, you know, just tell us something about this past year and some success you had this year and some of the high moments and some of the low moments you had.
So this year, coming off the championship season the previous year, which was just conference, so we didn't go that far. So kind of this year, I knew what to expect, and some of the other seniors, which were one of the core guys, like we came in knowing that we had to be leaders, and like the other guys knowing who we were, they were kind of looking at us as leaders, and they wanted to see like whatever they do, that's what we have to do. So I had to come in with like a mindset like I don't want to think everything is given to me. Everybody probably thinking that already, so I was like I don't want to be that guy. So I try to do everything hard, try to do everything that I did last year, but 10 times harder. And I know you guys are going to be on me. I just wanted to be that leader this year. And those guys were the new recruits that we had, like Dre, DJ, Antonio. You should have another great season, I'll be honest. Those were big pieces.
Yeah.
And we needed that. That's why we got so far. And we came, the chemistry, it was all together. It was a great season.
Yeah. And one of the things that we try to do, Cam, and after Coach Billups had won it the previous year, we went out and got you some help. And that's what we went out and we looked and we found some great players.
Who was the help?
Well, Antonio Patterson, we had Dre that was really big, and then we had what's the other?
DJ,
Darren Pierce.
And so we went and got some really good players that put and I always told it, Cam, it's bigger than about winning the conference. My biggest thing was what I wanted to win.
You wanted to win the national.
I wanted to win the national, and I always talked about winning the national, and I just put that seed in their head, was Rankin. So that's what we played for this year. We played for the national. We played with passion, and we played with poise. And down the stretch, we had compassion, and we played with poise. That's why we was able to do what we did.
Well, I'm going to see if I can get you to blush a little bit because I'm a woman, right? And so when we come to the games, we look for the cute ones on the court, okay? And so we were coming to look for little Cam because of that cute smile that you see right there. But what we also loved about you was how fast you were and the fancy footwork and how you played with the ball. Let's talk about that style.
Well, my dad, when he showed me how to play ball, he was like, I'll be honest, I can tell you now. He said, you gotta dance. If you're not dancing out there, you gotta put on the show. If you wanna go eventually play and make some money for off basketball one day, hey, you gotta put on the show. And so every time I go out there, if I see the defender is not as fast, I'll try to give him something every now and then. Now, if I hit a couple shots, I'm feeling it, I'll be honest. I'm trying to, he's gonna yell at me, I know it. But if I just score, I know he's not gonna yell at me as much. So I try to dance every now and then.
I love the dance. I think that was your little signature style. And the ladies liked it too. Yeah. What else you want to talk about sports-wise, Coach, before I delve into his personal life?
Well, I just want to compliment him on just being so poised and having that toughness that I talked about all the time, playing for us. Because you got to be tough to play for me.
Yeah.
You know, mentally especially, you got to be mentally tough to play for me. And I just appreciate that, Cam. And you took us to a different era for Tulu. You took us higher than we expected to go. And like I said, this year's gonna be the same thing. I think we're gonna have a chance. I think we got to make the adjustments without having you, Big Cam, Bean. Bean was a great, and Taco, and Trajan. We got to make that adjustment. You talking about them 5 really, really good pieces that I had. So now we got to make the adjustments, and I think we went out and we recruited some pieces. I don't know if they're good as the pieces we recruited last year, but we will see soon. So that's part of it. And before you get started,
Yeah, sure.
Usually I don't recruit Cappers.
Oh, I love
Because I'm gonna make a man. But I made an exception for you, Cam. So we ain't gonna worry about it, okay?
Okay. Well, sweeten right? Okay.
Made the right choice.
I love it. That's cute. We respect all Greek diet.
That's right.
We love the Qs too, but especially Omega men.
That's right.
Okay. So tell me first, before I get into your personal life, because I'm going there, tell me what you really thought about Coach Strothers. Because I hear a lot of people say that he gives a lot of tough love.
It's very, very, very tough. Very tough.
What's tough about it?
Like, psychologically, I wasn't used to that, and he kind of got me my first year, but I realized it was a break you down, build you up method. It was old school. And I had to realize that, and I noticed it the second year when the new players came in, so I got to see it from the outside.
What's the biggest lesson that you learned from him?
To sometimes just listen and hear what he's saying instead of having a rebuttal every time.
Oh, that's really good advice. Mm-hmm. Really good advice. So, let's go personal a little bit because I want to take you, I think, back to Alabama. Was it Montebello?
Yes, it was Montebello.
Tell me about that experience.
I'll be honest, that was a dark time for me. It was like on the court wise. Like basketball, I had a hard time adjusting to that system. I'm used to like going fast, like how we play at Tulu like this. But that was a more slow down pace. And it was not for the point guard to attack the rim or to score as much. So I had to get used to passing, but if I wasn't a threat, it was hard for me to score. So it was kind of bothering me and messing me up. And like I said, I was still young, and I'm used to having that spotlight on me. So it's kind of like I go out my way to try to do things, and it was like, no, sit down. So you're on the bench now. And I had a hard time adjusting to that. And like I said, I was young. I wasn't mature. And so it was getting to me, and I wanted to just leave, drop out, and give up on basketball, which I actually did when I went back to Atlanta. I was just hooping in the gym and just working.
So that's where I want to go because it was from that bad experience that caused you to walk that you really learned some tough lessons.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys have talked about second chances. And you got a second chance from Strothers and Billups watching you in a gym. Can you tell our viewers about that?
Yeah, so it was actually a coach that seen me that coached 3 years ago that was actually on the staff. He goes by Cheese.
Yeah, Coach C, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he seen me, and he's been watching me play for like a year. And he asked me how old I was, and I was like, I'm only 22. And he was like, you got eligibility left? I was like, yeah, but in my head, I'm not thinking about going back to school. I'm like, it's over with. I have my time. I'm thinking I'm too old. And they were like, 22? Oh, you still have eligibility left. So when he was telling me, I was like, well, I go to Jackson. It's only 6 hours away. So to me, I came with my friend, and he actually tried out as well. And we were like road trip. Yes, first place we went to was Waffle House when we got here.
Oh my gosh.
Waffle
Okay.
House. So we came, and that's when I seen Coach Strutt. But I didn't know who he was at first. I knew who Billups was. So they seen me play. We were playing. I was doing good. Coach Billups pulled me aside, and he said, scholarship. And I was just like, I had to think for a second. I'm like, are you serious? Yeah, I thought I was done. Like, I was shocked. I'll be honest, I went to the car. I teared up a little bit. I called my mom, and she was like, this is your second chance. And that's when I came back in. I talked to him, and he was like, yeah, I like you, but I'm not going to give it to you. You got to show me. Like I said, he was messing with me.
Bully.
I was like, I understand second chance. Like I said, I got mature when I went to Atlanta because I know I had a little attitude. Used to having the spotlight on me. I just wasn't mature yet. But me coming here, getting that tryout, and actually getting the second chance helped me.
Which is something else that I want to talk to you about. It is the mentality. Because you went through some hardships.
Mhm.
And you lost your best friend. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I lost him in 2017. So that was right after I left to go to Alabama. And it was kind of hard on me. Well, I'm not going to say kind of. It was very hard. 'Cause I used to talk to him every day. We played the games together all the time. And it was like different. And just not having him, because he used to always be in my ear. I was the basketball player. He was just a student. So he was always telling me, like, hey, you need to go to the gym. We'd be on a game. He'd be like, hey, no, this is my last game. Go to the gym. You need to go to the gym, go work out. He was like that coach in my ear, but he was also my best friend. And so now, like, every time I go to the gym, I'm like, I can hear him saying, go to the gym. So it's kind of like, okay, you got to go to the gym. So I used to go like once, now I go 3 times a day. I just go every time I go, I just think about him when I'm shooting a shot. I think about him. I actually tried to get his basketball number, but somebody had it.
What was his name?
He was number 2. I couldn't get number 2, so I got close to him. I got 1.
Which is good. Can you tell me how he passed?
It was a car accident coming back from school. We were both coming back. I was coming from Tennessee, actually going back to Ohio, and he was coming from Pennsylvania. So we already planned to go back home, but he actually didn't want to go. But all of us was like, oh, no, we should all go. You know, there's snowing. It's Christmas break. So I'm flying. My other friend is flying from Illinois, and he's driving with some people back. And I get off the plane. I know my phone is just blown up. It's blown up. And I'm like, dang, I knew I was back, but I didn't know everybody missed me. And I'm seeing a lot of Facebook. So when I see Facebook, I'm like, oh, something happened. And I seen it, and it was like, rest in peace to him. And I wasn't talking for like 6 months. And it was just hard. I had to adjust, went to Montevello, and that probably still, me thinking about it now, that probably stuck with me there, and I was still having a hard time battling it.
I'm going to leave it alone there because I know how personal that can be. I want to shift a little bit, and I want to talk to you about the lessons that you learned after you left Alabama, because you were doing some hard labor, some may call it, and that made you realize, I have to get to Tougaloo, and I have to do some work. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. I was working in I worked hotel, front desk. I was driving trucks for Amazon. Warehouse was the worst. I worked all of those, and I realized, like, I do not want to do this for the rest of my life. And I was just kept trying to figure out, how can I get out of this? How can I get out of this? I was still playing ball every day, getting off work at 3 a.m, going to a hoop session at 5 a.m, then going to sleep, going to work, and doing it over and over. But I didn't realize I was hooping so much that I was keeping my skill. And so when somebody seen me, it was kind of like I didn't lose a beat. So that's when Cheese seen me 2 years later. And he was like, you should go try out. So I never really lost a beat. But at the same time in Atlanta, I was playing with pros and everything. And they were just telling me, like, now you need to go back to school. And I'm just working. and I'm just living life, just playing basketball, working on the weekends. It's Atlanta, so we're going downtown. We're going to have a good time. So I'm just young. I'm 21, 22 in Atlanta. It's kind of like from Toledo. No, we don't have stuff like that up there. So I had a good time, but I realized this is not the life I want, working like that. So I kind of, that mentality of on the court is like, when I play, it's kind of like you're not going back to that life. So I play, I'll be honest, I'm a mean player when I'm out there. I'm nice right now, but out there, I'm mean.
What makes you mean on the court?
Makes me mean, like, I'm very aggressive. Like, I will use my body if I have to. Like, you be next to me, I'm going to the rim, and they think we friends. Like, we talk after the court. I'm not trying to talk right now, but
Competition, competing made LeCam a great player. He liked to compete. If I tell him he can't do something, he gonna show me he can do it.
Oh, I love
But
that.
one thing that I always preach and I talk about, LeCam can tell you, every day we talk about academics. So for him to get his degree, that was the most memorable moment that I had with LeCam, just to see him walk across there and get his degree. That made me so proud. I remember I saw him that day. He was so happy. Hey, Coach. He was just so happy. But that's what we preached. And he came there and got his degree. And that's the most important thing. I know he's 2-time player of the year, but that degree gonna be more important than that.
What's his biggest weakness to you?
I think his biggest weakness is listening. That's his biggest weakness. If he listen and don't think people talking at him and just listen, I think he'll be a better player, a better person, everything. But he's worked on it. I mean, you can listen to how he talk, how he carries himself now. He's worked on that, and he's gonna be great in this society.
So I interviewed you before, and I asked you what was your biggest weakness. Do you remember what you told me, and do you feel it's the same?
I'm trying to think what I told you. I have a lot of weaknesses.
Tell me what you feel though is your biggest one.
It's kind of like going off his. I'm not gonna say always because I learn from it. Sometimes I rebuttal because I'm frustrated sometimes and I rebuttal, and then later on I realize I was wrong.
What's your biggest strength?
Strength?
Yeah.
I'm very observant, so I can tell. Like, of just watching somebody how they move, I can tell what they want. I can make myself approachable. Because I can tell by the way they move. I might not even act like that, but I can tell by what they want. I'm like, okay, that's how he moves, okay.
And you're talking about on the court?
On the court, or outside the court.
Okay, put you on the spot.
So, like,
What about me?
you?
Read me.
I made myself approachable when I first met you. When we were in Kansas, you came down there. I seen that you were interviewing some of the players, and I was just like, okay, let me sit right here. I came over and sat right there, act like I didn't see you. And you came over and you tapped me. I remember that. You tapped me and said, oh, can I interview you for a second? I was like, oh, sure. I had it planned the whole time.
But I was coming to you the whole time because you were the star player.
Oh, well, you beat me too.
And I watched you maneuver. I saw you when you sat. And I was like, oh, I love it. So let me interview the other players because he's waiting on it.
Yeah, I was trying to act like I didn't see you.
But I saw you. Yeah, you really are, I think, remarkable. Can you tell me who was your favorite player on the team? Who was your go-to guy?
Trajan.
I knew it,
Trajan.
Mr. Three-Pointer.
Trajan, yeah.
I knew it. Yeah.
It's-
Why? What about Trajan made you want to go to him?
We had we had that light skin connection. I ain't gonna lie. We had that light skin connection, and then he had little signals that we would give to each other. Like, I don't know if you know, so I was running out of the court. He was behind me. I tapped my side. That means do not move. I'm about to throw it behind my legs behind. Just stay behind me. But I know when he's gonna shoot it, how he wants to shoot it, where he wants to catch the ball. I know him. If he hits a shot, the next 5 plays, I'm going to Trajan.
See, I told you get insight and behind the scenes stuff by watching Coach's Corner, didn't I? Okay, so Trajan, so you guys keep in touch still?
I was just talking to him yesterday, yeah.
Uh-huh.
He was in the gym. He's going to the gym every day. He just told me he just signed to an agent as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the agent thing. So we know that you want to play professionally, go overseas as well. What happens if you don't?
What happens if I don't? I think since my degree in sociology, I just got that in rehabilitation. They're enlisting right now for the summer. I think I would probably sit a year and then re-enlist into it, and then go to Jackson State and get my master's in rehabilitation.
What do you want to do with that degree?
Therapist.
What type?
See, that part I'm not gonna say yet because I don't really know. I'm still looking into that. But they said once you get in the program, you're gonna realize what you like. So right now, I don't know which type of therapist I want to be, but if I do, that is the route I am going.
So Lil Birdie tells me that he's still in Mississippi, right? Right now that you haven't transitioned back to that sweet peach state. I live there, so I'm well aware. What do you tell the younger guys now when you see them? Because they watched you, some tried to emulate you. What is it that you instill in them?
It's funny that you say that. A lot of guys that I know that sat out a year or didn't go to school right after high school, they think that everything is D1. If you're not D1, you're nothing. And I've actually been on the court with D1 guys, and it's kind of like sometimes here, sometimes there, but I feel like if you can play, they're going to find you. I've seen D2 guys better than D1 guys. I've seen NAI guys better than all of them. It just depends on your work ethic. D1 is just how you did, if you did great in high school. You did great in high school depending on where you're at. That's why a lot of people transfer, because where they were at in high school probably wasn't as good as this place over here. Or sometimes when you get to college, some people just go up, some people go down. It just depends. But do not think D1 is everything.
Let's talk about size too, because when most people think basketball, they think tall, like Coach, and you're a little Cam, and you were still making waves. So for some young guy that's sitting at home, or some kid that's smaller, and it's like, I really love basketball, but I don't think I can make it in it. What advice would you give that kid?
If you're smaller, you just have to be very spectacular at what you do. Like you gotta be able to shoot the ball very, very well. You can't just be good. You have to shoot it very, very well. You have to play defense very, very well, because we're not tall, so we're here right now. But if you can do all those, but mainly shoot the ball really good and play defense, you're gonna be on the court if you're smaller. Because height, you're gonna always be on the court. Because you're tall, you can see over everybody. But if you're smaller, you have to do things very, very great. I would say that.
Thank you for sharing your story with me. We are going to do something on the show. It's going to be a new segment, and it's going to be Ask the Coach. So you get to ask Coach Strothers any question that you want to know. So all you have to do is email us, and we're going to put that out on our social media channels. So be sure to follow Strothers.corner on Instagram and on Facebook. And it just so happens, Cam, since you're here, we're going to kick it off with you. You get to ask Coach Strothers anything that you want to ask him, as long as it doesn't violate any FCC rules. So something that you always wanted to ask him that you never knew, that perhaps you couldn't ask him when he was your coach. Ask away. Ask Strothers.
Okay. It was 2 years ago. At the end of the season, the last game in Tampa, I want to say. We was in Florida.
Hey, man. Yeah, in Florida.
And you remember the meeting
Uh-huh.
at the end of the season.
Okay.
It was some words exchanged in the locker room. Everything. It was basketball talk. It was fine. And you guys Coach Billups, you guys kind of made us feel like, dang, y'all gave up at the last second. Like, we gave up. And we did so good that season, we even won the conference championship. We really felt like y'all gave up on us.
Right.
And y'all was like, see, y'all only good as the conference championship. You know that's not what we going for. He said, we just get it again next year. Did y'all really lose doubt in us?
No. What I was doing was planting the seed for this year. See, my vision was way bigger than what y'all was thinking. All I did was plant the season for this coming year. You see what we did this year?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I planted the seed back then. So one thing I do, I always think at least 2 years ahead what I'm going to do. And if I'm definitely coaching, because I learned this as being an assistant coach. Because when you recruit, you lose players sometimes. And then you got to have somebody to come in and back and be ready to come in and fill their shoes. But I planted the seed, and y'all had done a great job. Y'all won the conference tournament. I think it was 21-9. Y'all done a great year. But I always say I want a national title. And that's what I wanted. And just getting kicked out the first round, and I know we should have won that first round. The team that won it out, remember that team got to the Final Four, but we should have beat that team. And we had some problems. We had some things that happened where we couldn't get there. But I planted the seed for this year.
So I see that your eyes are watering a little bit from him giving you that answer.
And
Let's talk about it.
That was that time right there. Like, I went home and I was like, I'm not good anymore. Like, I didn't think I was good anymore. A lot of players, they was ready to leave, like the core guys that just came from senior year. We were all about to just leave. When we transferred, we was like, they don't like us no more. We just won a championship. We were all about to leave, and then, like, I would say Trajan, he came and was like, nah, we shouldn't leave because he's the calm one. He's the calm one. I think I'm the pretty boy.
Come on up,
That's
dude.
my guy. He's the calm one. He was like, nah, don't leave. We got this. He was the one that brought us all back together.
But you see what I did, though, right?
Yeah, now that you explain it, now I see, but
Because I always say the conference is not what I want. I want that national. I want you to be not just the conference player of the year. I want you to be the national player of the year. I wanted to put that fire. You see how that fire was in you? How I lit that fire? I know how to light your fire. So
in other
that's
words,
what
he's saying you're good enough.
Yeah. So that's what I do. I've been an assistant coach long enough to know what to say and what to do. But I want to ask you something.
Uh-oh.
I want to ask you, what was your most memorable moment of this year?
That's a lot of moments.
But only give us one.
Is it this year?
This year. This year.
Okay.
I know the one from the year from last when we won the tournament down there.
Yeah, that
was great. Beating them on their floor, that was wonderful.
Who was that?
Philander Smith.
Okay, gotcha.
This moment, you probably wouldn't even think about it. I'll be honest. It was the week of the tournament. You probably know what I'm about to say now.
Mm-hmm.
It was the week of the tournament. Tournament hasn't started yet. It's at Tougaloo. Like you said, sometimes I get a little attitude. I was going through something that week. Coach Strat kicked me out of practice. Coach Strat kicked me. He wasn't wrong. I was upset. Him and Coach Billups got on me. I was upset. I was mad. And he made a point to the team like, we're going to do this and we're going to bring Lil Kim off the bench. And this is tournament time. So in my head, I'm like, oh, this is really the tournament. Like, Coach, what are you doing? But it sparked a fire with my other teammates, and actually, I really felt like since that moment to the end to Kansas, I think that was like the turning point. And I was like, they actually seen you like as like, okay, Coach is right. They looked at it like we don't need Little Kim, but when he plays, we know it's gonna be a big boost. Those guys, though, I say the first two games, those guys really didn't need me. At all. They played great. Antonio, DJ, Taco, Trajan. And I loved it. I thought I was out there for a little bit. Sometimes when I was on the bench, I was like, they playing great. But I was just saying, like, outside of me, it was a great moment for you. And I seen that, and I was just like, that's good. I like that.
Kim, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your transparency.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm Eric Strothers, alone
With Katina Rankin. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time
on My Coach's Corner.